I'm Adam Laxalt, the former Attorney General of the state of Nevada. A few days ago, we presented to all of you.
The mic's not working.
You gotta hold it up.
We presented to all of you that we would provide evidence of voter fraud in the state of Nevada. Now, how did we get here? Many of us were warning about the fact that the Democrats unilaterally, fundamentally altered our voting system inside 90 days. We warned that the state of Nevada was just simply not ready to give us a fully fair and secure election. We pointed out that this system that moved to mail-in balloting simply did not have enough checks in it. We pointed out that the voter rolls in Clark County had a lot of improper voters, and we pointed out that the signature verification process and these things were simply not going to protect the system. We were told that signature verification would save all chances of fraud. But what we've discovered is that we have over 600,000 votes that have been counted in the state of Nevada through the mail-in system. This campaign has not laid our eyes on a ballot signature, an envelope signature, and a voter roll signature on a single one of those 600,000 voters. And in particular, the Clark County Registrar went with a machine called the Agilis machine. And at least 200,000 votes were counted through the signature verification process of this machine only. I will repeat for the media, no human beings looked at those signature matches to confirm they were in fact matches. Now we have artificial intelligence and computer photographic forensic experts that are absolutely positive that the fact that Joe Gloria, which was admitted in court, reduced the factory setting to 40%, that in order for that system to properly work would take months and months of testing with a large amount of experts, and that simply was not done. 200,000 of the votes went through this computer system that we cannot be sure verified these votes properly. Now, as we said, we were going to present evidence of major voter irregularities and voter fraud, and we've been pouring those out over the last 24 hours. I'm going to turn it over to Matt Schlapp to go into particulars.
Thank you, Adam. It's in. Thank you. Someone even brought their dog. It's important. That dog might have voted. You're right. It's important. It's important for people to know that what happened in Vegas, the entire world needs to understand. In this point, in this election cycle, it is critical that the vast majority of Americans have confidence in the result of this election. We have seen political division like we haven't seen in a number of years. The way we resolve division, even when you don't get your way in an election, is to count every legal ballot and to make sure that we count every legal ballot and make sure that illegal ballots do not reduce the civil rights and the votes of those who voted legally. Amen. Since we've put this group together to scrutinize the information that we've been able to learn while being cut out of the observation process and the tallying that's going on in Clark County, we now have thousands of examples of voter irregularity. That takes several forms. I've been involved in politics a long time. I was shocked to learn from our hotline, from the conversations we've been having, from things sent to the website, that hundreds of Republicans were disenfranchised, were denied the right to vote, both on election day and leading up in the early vote. They were put through a process that proved impossible to satisfy in order to cast their legal vote. We will be finding and investigating and going through all of these examples, of which I said there are hundreds. Dead people voted in Clark County. That is a tricky thing because obviously for these families, this is a very tragic reminder of a loss that they have just recently had to go through. We have two examples that we have talked about and want to talk about today. One is the death of Rosemarie Hartle in 2017. The other is the death of Fred Stokes Jr. in 2017. Miraculously, they both voted, which means that the voter file that was used to send out these mail-in ballots was not deduped by death records. We know that underage voters voted in this most recent election. How difficult would it have been to make it clear that nobody would have been mailed a ballot if they had a birth date after a certain year? We know that in this area, which has been gripped with the idea of an economic shutdown, that over 100,000 people left. Yet, through our due diligence, we've been able to find that at least 9,000 of them voted in this election. Non-Nevadans voting in Nevada. How hard would it have been to simply go through the available databases to dedupe all those who had moved away from the voter files before these ballots were mailed?
Exactly.
We have, over the last couple days, had many brave people call us who have witnessed tampering, who have witnessed wrongdoing. These are brave whistleblowers.
Yes.
Yeah, very brave. Yeah.
Yes.
Workers.
Heroes.
Yes.
These folks worked in the counting center, were involved in the tallying, and Fox News recently reported that one of these whistleblowers had to quit, and I'm going to just use the male pronoun, had to quit his job after he worked on about 14,000 ballots, when he would raise objections to clearly improper ballots. He was told by his supervisor to put them through the process and count them anyway. This whistleblower believes that there were other such employees who were also uncomfortable with the fact that when they could see clearly objectionable ballots, they were still forced to put them in the tally. These ballots can never be taken back out of that tally. These ballots, there's no way to remedy ballots that were put in an improper way. A second whistleblower we have not talked about before described leaving on, and I'm going to use the male pronoun again, leaving on his lunch hour. And while he was on his lunch hour, he decided to exercise around the counting center. While he was walking, he noticed a van pulled up at the center marked Biden-Harris. The doors of the van were open, ballots were clearly visible, ballots were opened with letter openers, and ballots were filled in and resealed in envelopes.
No integrity.
these people who were involved in this activity then decided to create a human shield around what they were doing in the van.
Treason.
It's important for you to understand that as we are coming and making public, it's important for you to understand that as we are making this information public, we are on the outside looking in. I've never experienced an election where the idea of observing the count was considered out of bounds. But yet I think it is clear that with the evidence we're presenting, that if we had more information and this was a more regularized and legal process, we would be able to tell you even more. As I said, dead people voted in Nevada. One of those people who voted was Rosemary Hartle, God rest her soul. We have a friend of the family, Marianne Rambola, who would like to talk to us now.
Hi, Kirk Hartle, her husband, could not make it today as he's in transit, though I am here to say that it is heartbreaking what is happening in America, and for this family to be exploited, or anybody who has faced a tragedy in losing somebody and their vote has been counted as a deceased person. This is just not America, and this is not right, and things need to be heard and taken care of, because it's just heartbreaking for my friend Kirk and his family to have received this information that her vote has been counted. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. We now want to hear from Chris Prudhomme from the Nevada GOP. Chris, please come forward.
Hello, guys. Hello. Hello, guys. My name is Chris Prudhomme with the Nevada GOP. I've been fortunate to spend a lot of time in the office in these obviously recent weeks and experienced a lot of unfortunate things that have obviously transpired. Very disturbing things. I've actually talked to a father myself. of a 17-year-old son. He decided to call us at the office and explain to us that his son registered to vote but actually received the ballot at 17 years old. These are things that are unacceptable. The voter rolls need to be clean. There are numerous amounts of issues. You have 7,600 individuals who were entered in the national change of address, and those individuals we are actually verifying at this moment if they actually voted or not. You have 176,000 individuals who have left the state of Nevada. We're verifying that as well to make sure that correlates with any other information to see if they voted any other place. And what Matt said earlier, 9,000 individuals, a mailing address, who voted by mail in this election. We're also verifying that to see who did or did not vote. And some of it could be wrong, some of it could not be wrong. But the bottom line is this, folks. There's a serious issue going on, and we're not saying anything, but all we are looking to say is we want a fair and free election. The media does not get to decide who is president. It is simply about having a fair and free election, and that's all we're simply saying, because we have an election coming up in January. We have midterms coming up again in 2022 and another presidential election in 4 years. So we want to continuously make sure that the voter rolls are clear and they are cleaned out, because even one is too much. The fact that we have dead people on the voter rolls is unacceptable. That shows that there is a major issue and a major problem, and this will not be tolerated.